Hi, friends. Right now, your attention is under attack, not by one big villain, but by a system built to keep you distracted, overstimulated, and constantly reaching for your phone. Maybe you felt it. You sit down to work, and within minutes, you're checking notifications. You try to read, and your brain wants a faster hit. You open your phone for one thing, and 20 minutes disappear. And after a while, you start blaming yourself. You think, you aren't lazy and you haven't lost discipline. Maybe this is just how I am now. But according to Johann Hari in Stolen Focus, that's not the truth. Your attention didn't simply collapse. It's being pulled apart by forces most of us barely notice. In this video, I'll break down why your focus feels broken, what Hari discovered after years of research, and the 30-day plan you can use to start rebuilding your attention, step by step. If you stick with me, by the end, you'll have a practical reset plan you can start today. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you read a full chapter of a book without checking your phone? When was the last time you watched something, worked on something, or even sat quietly with your own thoughts without needing extra stimulation? For a lot of people, the answer is, I honestly don't know. And that matters more than we think. Because attention isn't just about productivity. It shapes your thoughts. It shapes your emotions. It shapes the quality of your work, your relationships, and even your sense of self. What you pay attention to becomes your life. That's why Johann Hari's message in Stolen Focus hits so hard. This isn't just a personal productivity problem. It's a cultural, technological, and psychological problem. We're living in an environment that constantly fragments our focus. The good news is that attention can be trained back. It won't happen overnight, but it can happen. And by the end of this video, I want to give you a simple 30-day framework to start that process. Why your focus feels broken. First, the dopamine loop. Let's start with one of the biggest traps, the constant reward loop created by your phone. Every time you scroll, refresh, get a notification, or see a like, your brain gets a tiny reward signal. Not necessarily enough to make you feel deeply satisfied, just enough to make you want to check again. That's the problem. Your brain starts learning that quick, low-effort digital stimulation is easier than slow, meaningful work. Why spend 30 minutes pushing through something difficult when your phone can give you novelty in 3 seconds? Over time, this changes what your brain expects. Deep work starts to feel harder. Boredom feels unbearable. Stillness feels uncomfortable. And anything that doesn't give immediate stimulation starts to feel wrong. So it's not that you've become weak. It's that your brain has adapted to a constant stream of cheap rewards. Second, the attention economy. Hari talks about something called the attention economy. The basic idea is simple. Huge parts of the internet make money by capturing and holding your attention for as long as possible. That means many apps are not designed to help you finish and leave. They're designed to keep you engaged, keep you refreshing, keep you scrolling, and keep you coming back. Notifications, infinite scroll, autoplay, variable rewards, these aren't random design choices. They're engineered to make stopping harder. So when you feel like you're fighting your phone and losing, it's not because you're uniquely undisciplined. You're often up against systems that were deliberately optimized to hold your focus. 3. The collapse of deep focus. Hari also explores what psychologists often call flow, that state where you're fully absorbed in one thing. Time disappears, and your best work happens. The problem is that flow requires uninterrupted attention, and modern life makes uninterrupted attention rare. A notification, a message, a quick app check, an email, a random thought that sends you to another tab, each interruption breaks your momentum. And even if the interruption only lasts a few seconds, it can take much longer to get fully locked back in. So instead of spending hours in deep focus, many people spend the whole day in a shallow state of partial attention, doing a little of this, checking a little of that, reacting to everything, but never fully sinking into the work. That's exhausting. And it makes you feel busy without feeling effective. 4. The death of boredom. This one is easy to underestimate. Before smartphones, boredom was normal. You waited in line, you sat on a bus, you stared out a window, you had empty space. Today, almost every empty moment gets filled instantly. Waiting? Pull out your phone. Walking? Put on a podcast. Eating alone? Scroll. Lying in bed? One more video. But boredom isn't useless. Boredom is often the doorway to reflection, creativity, and mental recovery. When your mind wanders, it's not doing nothing. It's processing, connecting, and exploring. If every quiet moment is immediately covered with stimulation, your brain never gets that space. And if your brain never gets that space, attention gets weaker. 5. Stress and sleep. Hari also makes an important point. You can't separate attention from the rest of your life. If you're constantly stressed, sleeping badly, mentally overloaded, and glued to screens late into the night, your focus will suffer. A tired brain struggles to sustain attention. An anxious brain looks for escape, and your phone is always there, offering easy escape. So this isn't just about deleting apps. It's also about protecting the conditions that attention needs: rest, calm, space, and recovery. So what's the solution? Hari's message isn't just try harder. In fact, one of the most important ideas in the book is that willpower alone is not enough. If your environment is constantly pulling you toward distraction, you need to redesign the environment, not just rely on motivation. That's the shift. Stop trying to win a willpower battle every hour. Start making distraction harder and focus easier. From the book, I'd boil the recovery process down to 5 practical principles. Part 3. The 5 principles to rebuild attention. Principle 1. Use pre-commitment. Don't wait until you're tempted and then try to resist. Make the distraction harder to reach before the moment arrives. That could mean keeping your phone in another room while you work, deleting or logging out of high distraction apps, using app blockers, buying a real alarm clock so your phone doesn't sleep beside you, charging your phone outside the bedroom. The goal is simple: reduce friction for focus, increase friction for distraction. Principle 2. Relearn boredom. Your brain needs time without input. Go for walks without music. Sit for a few minutes without your phone. Eat a meal without scrolling. Let your mind wander. At first, it'll feel uncomfortable. That's normal. You're breaking a habit loop and rebuilding tolerance for stillness. Principle 3. Protect sleep and stress recovery. If you want better attention, protect your evenings. Try to stop using your phone right before bed. Reduce stimulation at night. Build a calmer shutdown routine. And if possible, avoid starting the morning by immediately flooding your brain with notifications and short-form content. A rested brain focuses better. A constantly overstimulated brain doesn't. Principle 4. Do one thing at a time. Multitasking usually isn't real productivity. It's often just rapid task switching. And every time you switch, you pay a mental cost. So for the next 30 days, practice monotasking. One task, one window, one block of time, one focus target. Simple, but powerful. Principle 5. Rebuild gradually. If your attention span feels weak, don't expect to jump straight into 3 hours of deep work. Start smaller than your ego wants. 20 minutes of real focus is better than 90 minutes of distracted struggle. Attention works like a muscle. Train it consistently, and it gets stronger. Part 4. The 30-day attention reset. Now, let's turn those ideas into a practical 30-day plan. The goal here is not perfection. The goal is to reset your relationship with your phone, rebuild your tolerance for boredom, and train your brain to focus deeply again. We'll split it into 4 weeks. Week 1. Remove the noise. Goal: reduce stimulation and break the automatic checking habit. Day 1. Delete or log out of non-essential high-distraction apps. Keep only what you genuinely need. Day 2. Turn off all non-essential notifications. If your phone lights up all day, your attention never gets a chance to settle. Day 3. Move your phone charger out of your bedroom. If you use your phone as an alarm, replace it with a real alarm clock. Day 4. No phone for the first hour after waking up. Read, stretch, walk, journal, anything except diving straight into notifications. Day 5. Eat all meals without your phone. No scrolling while eating. Day 6. Take a 20-30-minute walk with no music, no podcast, and no scrolling. Day 7. Do a mini digital Sabbath. One evening with no social media, no short-form content, and no unnecessary screen time. What you'll probably feel this week: restlessness, boredom, the urge to check your phone for no reason. That's normal. You're noticing the habit instead of obeying it automatically. Part 2. Rebuild your attention. Goal: start replacing stimulation with depth. Day 8. Read a physical book for 20-30 minutes. Day 9. Write by hand for 10 to 20 minutes. Journal, reflect, or plan. Day 10. Do one 30-minute deep focus block on your most important task. Phone away, one tab, one objective. Day 11. Do one everyday activity slowly and with full attention. Cooking, cleaning, organizing, anything. Day 12. Have one conversation without checking your phone at all. Day 13. Sit outside or somewhere quiet for 15 to 20 minutes with no input. No phone, no book, no audio. Day 14. Review the week. What triggered distraction most? What helped you focus most? Day 15. Extend one focus block to 45 to 60 minutes. Day 16. Practice single tasking for an entire morning or afternoon. Day 17. Reduce background input for one day. Less music, less random video, less news, less noise. Day 18. Write one page answering this question: who am I when I'm not constantly consuming? Day 19. Do something hands-on and offline. Draw, fix something, build something, cook, organize, clean, create. Day 20. Have a deliberately low stimulation evening. No social media, no endless videos, just reading, reflection, conversation, or rest. Day 21. Check your screen time and compare it to day 1. Week 4. Make it stick. Goal: turn the reset into a lifestyle instead of a temporary challenge. Day 23. Define your top 3 priorities for the next 90 days. What deserves your attention? Day 23. Clean your phone home screen. Keep only useful tools visible. Day 24. Create a simple end-of-day shutdown ritual. 10 minutes to review. Short note to your future self about how you feel when you're less distracted. Day 28. Review your biggest wins from the month. Better sleep, more reading, less anxiety, better work. Day 29. Set your maintenance rules. Decide what stays permanently. No phone in bedroom, no notifications, scheduled focus blocks, social media limits. Day 30. Reflect on the full reset. What changed in your mood, your work, your reading, your thinking, and your relationship with silence? Part 5. What changes after 30 days? If you actually do this consistently, here's what usually starts to change. 1. Your mind feels less scattered. You may not become a monk overnight, but you'll notice something important. It becomes easier to stay with one thing. Reading feels less painful. Work feels less fragmented. You don't reach for your phone quite as automatically. 2. Silence stops feeling so uncomfortable. Instead of needing constant stimulation, you start tolerating stillness again. And that matters because stillness is where a lot of reflection, creativity, and clarity come from. 3. You begin choosing your attention more deliberately. This might be the biggest shift of all. Instead of your day being shaped by whatever buzzes, pings, trends, or appears on your screen, you start deciding what deserves your focus. And that's really what this is about. Not becoming perfect, not becoming anti-technology, not trying to live like it's 1995. It's about taking back control over one of the most valuable resources you have, your attention. Finally, Johann Hari's core message in Stolen Focus is powerful. If your attention has been damaged by your environment, then changing that environment matters. So don't finish this video and do nothing. Pick one action right now. Turn off non-essential notifications. Move your phone out of your bedroom. Delete one app that keeps hijacking your time. Schedule one 30-minute focus block for tomorrow. Start with one change, then build from there. And if you want to go deeper, I highly recommend reading Stolen Focus by Johann Hari. It's one of the most thought-provoking books on attention, distraction, and modern life that I've read. If you decide to do this 30-day reset, come back and comment with the biggest change you noticed. Was it better focus? Better sleep? Less anxiety? More reading? I genuinely love to know. If this video helped you, subscribe Book Review Vibe for more book-based ideas on focus, psychology, productivity, and personal growth. And until the next one, protect your attention. Because where your attention goes, your life follows.